It's production time. I'm Reid Stefan, realest puppet in the game. Today, I'm showing you how to mix pop vocals with Waves plugins. And I'm going to be doing this using Pro Tools because that's my favorite DAW for recording and mixing vocals. But y'all already knew that, so let's jump right into the good stuff. The song that I'm going to be mixing is called Prom Night by Thoreau featuring Kara. And while I play you guys the raw, completely unmixed vocal, I'm just going to do a little bit of organization and color cleanup that you could probably do in any DAW. So let's take a listen to the example.
I ain't get it, girl, what is it with you? Yeah, I ain't lying.
And we'll just solo the vocals.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear.
So the only plugin that we have running from the start is the UAD Auto-Tune. Now I know you might be thinking, hold up, this is a Waves video. What are you doing with the UAD Auto-Tune? Both Kara and Thoreau really love this one on their voice, so I'm not about to switch that up on them. But from here on out, we're going to be doing everything with Waves plugins. So the first thing I want to do now that I've colored all of my vocals together, there's a blue Thoreau vocal down here, but all the Kara ones are purple. I made the leads a slightly darker shade so it's even easier to tell. Just as you scroll, way easier than before to tell what you're looking at. So the first thing I want to do is send my lead vocals to a bus because I'm going to put the same plugins on both of them. No need to load them up twice. So send this to a new track as the output and switch this to a mono aux input. And you could hold command and hit up and down, left and right to switch between stereo, up and down for aux input, the name lead sum. And boom. So now this audio is going to actually come out on this channel.
Yeah, I swear.
And I'm also going to have this audio go to our lead sum, and we can, a little shortcut, just click once and start typing the name and it links you right to it. So let's load up our first Waves plugin, and that's going to be the Studio Rack. Now this is the most critical Waves plugin in the game because it lets you load up Waves plugins within a Waves plugin. So let's start out by adding a little bit of compression to this vocal. I'm going to type RVox, boom. That's my favorite go-to compressor, and with Waves, I like to highlight both knobs at the same time and drag them down at the same time.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear.
And then I like to push the output gain up, usually just about 1 above what I'm pulling it down. When I tracked this vocal, I even turned my lead up here on the clip gain +2, so it'd be a little bit louder than everything else, like doubles, harmonies, etc. But back into the Studio Rack.
I'm attached, shit, how did we get so far away? Now I'm getting used to the thought introduced to me when you fucked me up that day.
Before my compressor, I want to have something I could use as a drive knob, kind of like using a preamp with your mic. So I'm going to go into the harmonics folder and load up the Abbey Road Saturator.
I ain't get it, girl, what is it with you? Yeah, I ain't lying, trust you got some issues. Yeah, why you crying, girl, I still forgive you. But I still, yeah, all the shit I get you to admit to.
Default preset on this thing is really, really saucy on vocals. So that's just a little bit of grit going into the RVox. And the next thing that we're going to do is EQ it, the Q10. And let's start out by creating a low shelf.
I ain't get it, girl, what is it with you?
This little shelf go up to like 1,000.
I ain't lying, trust you got some issues. Yeah, why you crying, girl, I still forgive you. But I still, yeah, all the shit I get you to admit to. Yeah, don't play me, girl, you know what you did.
Next thing I'm going to do is a low cut. And this low cut is going to be at about 80.
I ain't get it, girl, what is it with you? Yeah, I ain't lying, trust you got some issues. Yeah.
Next thing I want to do is load up a little bit of multi-band compression so that I can give a little bit more squeeze to the mids than to the highs and the lows. And that's made very easy with a plugin like the C4.
I ain't get it, girl, what is it with you? Yeah, I ain't lying, trust you got some issues. Yeah, why you crying, girl, I still forgive you. Don't play me, girl, you know what you did.
And with that,
it's like you expect me to babysit. Yeah, all she talk about is getting lit. Except she ain't done being a kid. I don't need you, no. I won't leave you, I can't let you go. I don't need you, no.
Hey.
I won't leave you, I can't let you go.
Now that we've done some EQing and multiband is to squeeze it back together with a little bit of compression, but instead of doing something that sounds super modern and aggressive like RVox, I like to use something classic like a CLA 2A.
Don't play me, girl, you know what you did. It's like you expect me to babysit.
And I really don't like to hit the needle even that hard. I like barely touching this thing. Usually just end up turning it down a little bit.
Don't play me, girl, you know what you did. It's like you expect me to babysit. All she talk about is getting lit.
Let's go back to where they're just the vocals by itself.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear. Just when I'm getting over till you come over. We're stuck in October of last year.
So we're already pulling a lot of clarity out of the lead vocal without even really boosting the highs on it. So the next thing I want to do now that we have our leads feeling right is tend to our background vocals. We have some doubles here, and I believe we also have some harmonies.
Play me, girl, you know what you did.
And I think all these need to be turned down a little bit. But instead of pulling down the volumes on all these channels, I'm going to do what we did very similarly to the lead vocals and send all these to a new track. So let's call these doubles. And this is going to be a stereo aux input. Create. We can use the bottom of the pile. I like to have my sums towards the bottom. I learned this from Andrew Sheps one time when I was sitting with him. He says, I think of audio as flowing downwards. So my signal flow kind of ends at the bottom, which means the master channel, in his case, belongs at the bottom. And that's going to help us as we add all these sum channels, find everything, keep track of everything. So let's send all of our doubles to the doubles. So you just go here, doubles, enter, click, doubles, enter. This is going to give us a really convenient point to go and turn down everything at once. They're all going to want to go down about -5 to -10, somewhere in that ballpark. Let's see. And while we're here, we may as well just set up the ad-libs one. So we'll do a new track, and it's going to be a stereo aux input. I did Command right to make that quick adjustment. Ad-libs. Everything is routed, like I said earlier, down to this channel here at the bottom. Analog 1, 2. I don't necessarily want to just send my beat and my vocals straight to the master. I kind of want to master my acapella a little bit before it gets combined with the beat. So I'm going to create another vocals group to send these vocal groups to. And so I'm just going to send this to a new track, and this is going to be called Dry Vox Sum. I would like for this sum to go straight to the master. All of our green aux channels that we just created to dry vox sum.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy. Just when
And now we've created one convenient place where we can mute our whole acapella, mix our whole acapella, whatever it may be. So now this aux and the beat up here at the top are the only two channels getting sent and summed down here at the master. And now that we have this stereo vocal sum, this is a great place to add a stereo waves plugin like the CLA vocals, mastering the acapella effect. And to do that, it's really just pretty much this preset right here.
would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear. Just when I'm getting over till you come over. We're stuck in October of last year. The longer we drag this out, I'ma touch it. How did we get so far away? Now I'm getting used to the thought introduced to me when you fucked me up that day.
I actually like the way the low end sounds, focusing on this range rather than the sub range, and then maybe bring it down a little bit to get it less bassy. But anyways, as you can see, this is taking the whole acapella and just doing some magic to it. Thank you, Chris Lord Algae. And we're going to go back and continue to mix these doubles. So we have a studio rack here on our lead with this chain in it, and that's processing this and this. And then we're going to have another studio rack for all of our doubles. And I'm going to start out actually by EQing it first, because I like to get rid of a little bit of the detail off my doubles before I start mixing them, just to help them sound a little bit more different than the lead. High cut, low cut. Now I'm going to add a little bit more high shelf back in with this plugin.
If you didn't need me, it can't be that easy, I swear. Just when I'm getting over until you come over. We're stuck in October of last year. The longer we drag this out, I'm attached to it. How did we get so far away? Now I'm getting used to the thought introduced to me when you fucked me up that day.
The push and pull of filtering and then adding it back in with harmonics creates a really unique excitement. And right now everything is down the center and it's really competing with the lead a lot. And also the volume is as well. I just like to mix it loud while I'm adding the plugin so I could hear it clearly, and then go in and find your actual balance. So let's go ahead and do some panning on these. For doubles, I like hard left, hard right. And same thing with Kara's doubles. And that should already help a lot. And then turn this down about -8.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear. Just when I'm getting over till you come over. We're stuck in October of last year.
I don't want my background vocals to have the same bite as the lead. So I'm going to use our compressor instead of our Vox.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear. Just when I'm getting over till you come over. We're stuck in October of last year.
And I'm going to bring this same exact studio rack chain down here onto our ad-lib sums, because this is going to be a great place to start, except for I'm just going to hit the ad-lib EQ harder on the filter.
October of last year. The longer we drag this out, I'm attached to it. How do we...
I want to pump the compression on the lead vocals a little bit harder than I do on the background vocals, not just with RVox, but with some parallel compression. So I'm going to create my first send. So I'm going to send this off to, let's use mono bus 1, and we'll send it at full volume. And then we also have to actually create mono bus 1. And here it is under our vocal, and I'm going to call this parallel. And let's also do bus 1. And a very convenient thing is renaming the buses, so I'll call this parallel. And this can also go to our dry vocal sum, because this is all going to be part of that. So let's add the CLA 76. Pretty much turn the input gain all the way up, and then go like this. And then I'm going to turn the attack to around 4, the release to around 6.
The longer we drag this out, I'm attached to it. How did we get so far away? Now I'm getting used to the thought introduced to me when you fucked me up that day.
We don't want this. This is a really noticeable compressor that makes the transients jump out at you, and that's really cool, but just at a low volume.
Would you believe me if you didn't need me? It can't be that easy, I swear. Just when I'm getting over until you come over. We're stuck in October of last year.
So we just snuck in a little bit of parallel compression on the lead vocals only.